I'm Danish, I'm allowed to say it. We didn't lose to France. Alright, so let's get into it. So basically, for people who have played this game but haven't played New Game Plus, gonna be a little confused at the start. So this game automatically skips the first 2 quests when we are in New Game Plus, which are basically a tutorial, so it's pretty nice for a speedrun. And the second quest is basically a buggy mess / auto-scroller that can softlock a lot, so that's nice to skip. Alright, gonna start time as soon as I skip the first cutscene here, and let's go. Alright, so we're off to the start here. I'm gonna explain a little bit more about New Game Plus and Ultra Hard here in a bit. So, first thing people probably have noticed is rolling is the fastest form of movement when you're playing as Aloy here, and not on a mount, so we're gonna be rolling a lot. So coming up here, we're just gonna have this conversation with Rust here. These conversations, you can pretty much just spam X to get through them. So the better you are at mashing, the faster you can go through those. And we're gonna be skipping most cutscenes and most conversations, so that's a good thing here. So here at the start of the game, we're gonna be fast traveling a lot because the Embrace area here, which is the starting area, is already unlocked fully, so we can fast travel to pretty much any spot we want. And since it's New Game Plus, we already have the fully upgraded fast travel pack. So coming up here is the first fight. Basically, don't blink or you miss it. So we're going to be fighting a Sawtooth here. Now, in this game, most machines, when you freeze them over, they take more damage. So let's do that. So as soon as this cutscene is over, gonna make sure the weapons were set up. And we're gonna go straight ahead for the Sawtooth here. Gonna freeze him over. And then we're gonna hit a triple shot right between his eyes to finish us off. And that ends the first quest. So yeah, here at the start of the run, we're gonna see a lot of fast traveling just because we can fast travel. So next quest here is basically just setting up the story and stuff. There's not really gonna be any combat. So I guess I have some time to explain New Game Plus and Ultra Hard. So let's start with Ultra Hard. Ultra Hard is the hardest difficulty in the game, but it also has some small changes compared to the other difficulties. So the most important thing in Ultra Hard is that all your weapons are nerfed, so they do a lot less damage than they do on other difficulties. And all enemy attacks are buffed to do a lot more damage to you. So a lot of things can still one-shot us. And another thing that is probably a good thing to point out on New Game Plus, aim assist is turned off, so I'm playing using a controller completely without aim assist. So that's gonna be fun, especially here 6 in the morning. So hopefully we don't have too bad of aim here. And since it's New Game Plus, we basically have a lot of stuff unlocked already. You can see I'm wearing the Shield Weaver, which adds a shield to Aloy, so we can tank some extra damage for certain fights. And coming up here, we are actually going to be seeing Olan for the first time. This is the guy we are either killing or saving later. And by the way, pro tip to all you donators out there, killing him is faster. Slightly faster. Not by that much, but it saves a couple of seconds. So keep that in mind if you want to donate to watch that. And the reason why we're either saving or killing him is actually because he kind of betrays us. He basically launches an attack on us a little bit later on here in the run. And we have to, I guess, make him pay for that. But the only reason why he launches that attack is because the enemies of the game, Eclipse, has, I guess, taken his family as hostage. So he's kind of forced to do it. So, yeah, depending on what type of heart you have, it's going to decide whether or not you want to kill him or not. So this is the second quest over here. We just have to go to sleep. Kind of weird seeing all the text in German. Mutter's Herz or Herz? I don't know. So coming up here is the proving. So let's have a little fun in the proving. For every arrow I miss, I will be donating $10 in the proving fight later on. So let's have a little fun and test our aim here. So first off, we have to kill 2 grazers here. The first one, we're just gonna throw a bomb at them and knock them out like that. And the second one is gonna rock right in front of the reticle here. Nice and easy. Switch to our arrows here and move on. So yeah, coming up here a little bit is gonna be the proving fight. That was the one I'm talking about, where we're gonna have to kill a lot of enemies. And a lot of the shots in the proving are kind of tough to hit, so most likely I'm gonna miss some, but I'll try to do my best. Could be expensive. So right here we actually catch up to these guys, and you're actually not supposed to. You can kind of see that it just disappear into the thin air there. A little, I guess, miss effect of going too fast there. You can't overtake them, unfortunately. There's a slight chance you can, but not all the time. So jumping across the logs there is just faster than walking across them. Gonna do a little skip here, jumping across. Now coming up here is what I personally call the Aussie Skip. So we are gonna go out of bounds here. Gonna go on this rock here, and we're gonna aim to make sure we hit this rock so we don't die on the fall. Go out of bounds. Now, right now we're actually out of bounds. There's two death walls on the left and the right, but if you stay within the tall grass there, the death walls for some reason do not go into the tall grass. So we can just skip across here and cut half of the proving here. Not half of the proving, but we cut a good margin of it there by getting on that robot arm a little early. So now the proving fight. So let's hope I don't miss, or if I do miss, it's for charity, I guess. So in the proving fight here, there are going to be 4 waves of enemies. The first 4 are, well, the first one here of the 4 is just simple, go from left to the right. Nothing too much about that, didn't miss a shot, unfortunately, for charity. Alright, the next one is a little bit more harder. You want to kill the first 2 enemies really fast, because that's going to, for some reason, make these 2 guys just stop up. The next wave spawns in immediately, and there's a miss. Oh dear. Second miss. Third miss. Alright, where's the last guy? Alright, we can... Oh, there's still a guy. Okay, I kind of messed that up. But right here in the last wave here that's gonna spawn him, I'm gonna manipulate the enemies here. So I'm gonna go off to the far right here. Go behind this flower, basically. Now that's gonna trigger this guy into jumping down from the cliff. And we do finish the quest as soon as he jumps down. That's another miss. Holy shit, I'm playing bad. Alright, that kind of went pretty bad. But I guess that's $50 for charity right there. So I hope Save the Children is happy about that. So right here we get all our stuff back. We basically just got saved there. I'm not going to point too much about the story, because this game has a lot of story. So yeah, if you want to know the story, just play the game yourself. There's basically a little too much to explain. Otherwise I would be talking about only the story for the next 2 hours. So right here we're supposed to follow Terza here. And she basically tells us more about the story, but we can basically just walk to the end point and wait for her to get here. Also, doing the first 2 splits, it doesn't matter how much health you lose, because it's scripted how much health we have right now, and the medicine bar. So you might notice in the top left corner that my health bar is blue. That is because I am wearing the shield armor, which is the shiny armor Aloy is wearing. Now that shield armor basically adds another shield, kind of like in Halo, so we can tank some damage before we lose actual health. And that's very useful on New Game on Ultra Hard. So it allows us to take some damage in certain fights. And the bar right below that, the green bar, is a medicine. We're going to use that to heal up in certain places, if we still have it when we get to those places. Otherwise, we're going to have to use health potions instead. So right here, we have to wait for Terza again to finish a dialogue. Otherwise, this guy who is... By the way, look at his feet. He's like casually floating half a meter in the air for some reason. I guess he's a Jedi Master. He won't let us out until Terza finishes a dialogue. So since we are playing in German, I have no idea when the dialogue is finishing here. I usually use the subtitles here, but for some reason Terza's subtitles are not showing up. Alright, I actually managed to get it. Okay. So coming up now is a fight that most people that played this game probably had a lot of trouble with. This is like, I guess the kind of first challenge of the game for new players. It's going to be the first Corruptor fight, and I'm probably going to make it look really easy. Because we're kind of going to cheese the fight really hard, because it does have some scripted elements that allows us to take out the Corruptor really fast, as you're going to see here. First we have to go up here and talk to Rish. So right here we're going to use our proximity grenades here to create kind of a half circle of mines around this gate here. A lot of striders are going to come through this gate. And we're going to create a little inner circle to just be safe. I'm going to leave 2 grenades here, because the Corruptor is conveniently going to jump in and land right on those grenades. And those grenades are not going to finish him off, but these arrows are going to finish him off, because he's going to land right on my side. Like that. So that's how fast you can do that fight. So now we are going to be able to leave the embrace area, so there's going to be a lot more traveling around. It's kind of funny when you play on a different language, when you whistle for a mount, it's a different different whistle. It's kind of funny that they actually changed the whistle sound as well. I usually play this game in English, if anybody's wondering.
We got time for some donations?
Yeah, sure, do one donation here, I guess.
Okay, cool. We got $30 from All-in-One Mighty saying, whoop whoop, this donation goes towards playing Horizon Zero Dawn in left hand.
I guess you lost there, buddy. So now we're outside the embrace, so now the main quest kicks off. And since this is any percent run, we're only going to play through the main quest. We're not going to do any of the side stuff, except for we're going to have to clear 2 corrupted zones coming up very shortly, because that's part of one of the main quests. So basically the main quest is split into 3 parts in this game. So there's the part where Aloy learns about the past and why the world, why the apocalypse happened. In case you don't know, this is a post-apocalyptic game. Not your typical one, but if you know about the story, you know it's, I guess, a cool concept for it. The second part of the story is helping out Denora, and the third part is finding out what happens to Aaron's sister. But coming up here, we're actually going to set up a quest here, which we are not going to complete. So a really good thing in this game for like routing purposes is we can do one part of a quest and just leave it. We don't have to finish a quest once we start it. We can actually just we can basically do one part of a quest and then move on until I guess it's more convenient for us to do the next part. Oh. Switch to the fire arrows there. All right. So setting up this quest called the War Chief's Trial. So we're basically doing the first part here, and then we're gonna come back to this, I guess, in roughly half an hour's time to finish the rest of the quest. So it's not like, for example, GTA games where once you start a mission, you have to finish it. It's a lot more common thing to see if you want to watch a Horizon 100% speedrun, because at one point in the 100% run of this game, you have 12 active quests at once. So a lot of things to keep track of, but you're basically doing a lot of objectives all around the game, and yeah, finishing the quest whenever it's convenient for you, basically. So now we're going to be on the way to the Cardia border, which is a really RNG-dependent split for the most part. A lot of runs come here to die. But basically, the RNG is going to be with the corrupted zones. So there's 2 corrupted zones we have to clear. Now, the enemies are always the same. They're going to be the same enemies in each corrupted zone, but the problem is where they spawn and which way they are facing. I'm going to go more into that once we get a little closer to those. Oh. So right here we just have to talk to Maria here in Mother's Crown here. She basically tells us we have to clear corrupted zones, otherwise the Cardia won't let us cross the border. And we are on a quest to figure out why we were attacked in the Proving. And Olin knows that, but he is in Meridian, which is on the other side of the border. So That's the reason why we're going there right now. So right here I'm gonna whistle for my mount. Again, that sounds so weird when you're used to English and the whistle is just completely different in German. I guess Germans whistle different. Not something I've ever noticed, but... So the first corrupted zone here is gonna have 3 grazers, and my mount is doing a terrible job of catching up here. Now the good thing about the grazers is they have a blaze, and my mount is gonna get in the way. So I'm gonna attempt to hit their blaze here. And this is some good RNG, I guess I got all of them. So if you hit their blaze with 1 fire arrow, as you can see, they just explode immediately. So that was quite perfect actually. So right here I'm just gonna set up my weapons here for the next corrupted zone. Next corrupted zone is the more annoying part, because there's going to be 3 watchers and 2 scrabbers. Now the important thing is they should not be spawning behind a certain house that's going to be on the right here, once we get to them. And if you want to know the RNG with the first corrupted zones, is you basically just want all the grazers to spawn with their back turned towards you, because that makes it a lot easier shot to set the blaze on fire and having them explode. So, yeah. So we're gonna go over this hill here, and then we're gonna see what the next corrupted zone here has to offer. So we don't want to see any of them behind the house on the right here, because then we have to go around the house to kill them. Let's see. We got some of them behind the house. Of course, it's marathon luck. That's a terrible shot. So people who haven't played on the ultra hard difficulty will know that the machines are a lot more aggressive than they probably were on your normal playthrough. Where's the last grabber? He's right there. Let's just snipe him like that. So now we're just gonna heal up. Let's see, we do not have enough bombs for the next fort fight here. So the fort fight is the last part of the cardio border here, right before we get to Day Tower. Now that fight is a little more consistent. There's basically 2 things that can happen here. And the thing we want to see is the Corruptor has to stay next to the gate down there. He can walk towards you, which is going to make it a little bit more tricky, but we'll see what happens. And basically the Corruptor, we're going to take him out in the same fashion with the first Corruptor, where we're going to hit him with a triple shot and then hopefully finish him off with a bomb. By the way, when I say I use a triple shot, it means I'm shooting 3 arrows at once, which is an ability Aloy has. So right there, the Corruptor stays. That's nice. So we have time to finish off the other guys here. Nice snipe. And the Corruptor hasn't even seen me, so he's not even gonna notice that he's dead. Like that. So right there, that's how you clear the cardio border, and that was pretty good fort fight there. Now we're gonna be on the way to Meridian. First here, we are gonna leave the settlement here. Let's see if we get this little trick here. Okay, we got it. So basically there, you cannot call for a mount while you're inside a settlement or inside a building. But jumping off the cliff slightly there allows you to whistle for a mount. And the reason why it's kind of precise is because you want to whistle for the mount before Aloy starts talking. Because if Aloy is talking, you cannot skip, or you cannot whistle for a mount. That's a, I guess, kind of important thing to remember here. So yeah, now we're gonna be on the way to Meridian. It's just gonna be a little scenic right here. There's gonna be a little bit scary moment here with the Stormbird that is flying around. You can see him flying up there. He's getting ready to attack. The Stormbird is the scariest enemy in this game, and we're gonna fight him towards the end of the game in a very intense battle. But right here, we're just gonna ride past him and pray that he doesn't hit us. Let's see. I guess he's not even shooting at us. That's convenient. All right. So I guess he was focusing on the other guys. So right now, since the Stormbird didn't attack us, there he is. But I guess he's a North American Stormbird right now. He's not really having a good aim. So yeah, we're just gonna be on our way to Meridian. So if we have any donations, feel free to go ahead while we do this little ride there.
And indeed we have a few donations. So we have $10 from Anonymous saying, I love Horizon Zero Dawn, can't wait to see it get dismantled. Also, make it German. We have $5 from All All-in-One Mighty saying, "No, I said French." We have $40 from Anonymous saying, "Good job, everyone." We have $25 from Nomad without a comment, and $5 from Anonymous without a comment. So thank you all for donations. And also I'm gonna fill you up on the donation incentive for killing or saving All-in. Right now, Kill All-in is winning at $65, with Save All-in coming in second at $25. So if you wanna change the fate of that little fella, but you better you know what to do.
Yeah, and for those who want to donate, it's right now if you want to get it in, because after we visit Meridian, we're gonna find Olin right after that. So yeah, get your donations in now. You only have, I guess, 4 minutes. But yeah, now we're coming up to Meridian. Basically what we're doing in Meridian is we're gonna have to find clues. Or we actually think we're gonna find Olin there, but he's not there. So we're gonna go to his apartment and find some clues as to why he was part of the attack. And as I said, it turns out the enemies, the Eclipse, has captured his family, so that's why he's doing the evil things. Right here we are forced to slow down because the game really wants us to start the DLC quest there. Unfortunately, we don't uninstall the DLC because some of the weapons I'm using are from the DLC. So the weapon I've equipped right now is actually the warbow from the DLC. It has an ability that when the bow is fully pulled back, it does more damage per shot. And that's why I can do a lot of damage to enemies in a very few shots, especially with the triple shot, if all 3 arrows hit. Other weapons you have seen me use, I've used the ice rail, which is the one I use to freeze enemies, which is basically a flamethrower but with ice. And the blast sling, which is a slingshot with bombs. You're gonna see 2 more weapons on the run later on. You're gonna see me use the Rattler, or hopefully you're not gonna see me use the Rattler because it's pretty much just a backup strat for a certain fight. And then, yeah, I guess I get to the other weapon later on. By the way, while we're on the way to, I guess, Meridian here, as we get into right now, I guess I can point out that the DLC for this game is absolutely amazing. And I will stand by this to this day, that the DLC for Horizon Zero Dawn is the best DLC ever released for a video game. And yes, even better than Battlefield Bad Company 2 Vietnam, which is another really good DLC. So if you have played this game but not the DLC, you owe yourself to play this game. It's so amazing. So right here we're gonna go inside the apartment here. Again, we're supposed to follow Olin here, but luckily this game is very nice with these follow missions or escort missions or what you want to call them. You can basically just walk to the end and wait, or you can, in this case, you can just walk into the cutscene triggers that happens to be there, even though Olin is not there. So right here I'm just going through the house, doing some optimized movement, I guess, to get to these clues as fast as possible.
Kein Zweifel mehr. Olin wusste von allem. Eine Karte. Die Glyphen zeigen, wo schon war.
I'll say Aloy has an interesting voice in German, though. So right here, I'm gonna load up the map twice here for the fast travel here. Now the reason why I load up the map, let's not fuck it up. There we go. So the reason why I load it up twice there is because when you load up the map, it likes to do kind of a cinematic thing where it shows you all the things you have discovered. But that takes a long time, so that's why you're gonna see me a couple times throughout the run load up the map twice, is to skip that skip that animation. So coming up now is the excavation site, and this is where we either kill or save Olin. So I guess we kind of need to know here in a minute time who won, or which bit won. Did save Olin get sniped at the end? But just let me know in a minute here. So this fight is a little tricky. It's one of the harder fights of the game because there's going to be 2 corruptors and a lot of enemies. Now the most annoying thing is the enemies are going to lob grenades at you, or I guess bombs, and they can kind of throw you off guard, because if you get hit by the bombs, it's going to take away your ability to fire for a second and kind of leave you vulnerable. And we are going to do a little thing to kind of abuse that fact that the bombs work like that, because it also affects the enemies, if their strat works correctly. But I would like to know who won. So are we saving or killing Olin?
I'm just okay. I'll just close the
Yeah.
door and. Yep, we are killing Olin.
All right, we're killing Olin. So that's actually faster. Because if you let him live, there's this little cutscene where he walks off, and it costs 5 seconds. I know it's not a much, but when you want to go fast, you gotta save everything you can. So coming up here is the fight. We're just gonna go through this little conversation here. So the important thing here is when I roll down towards the corruptors, or that I stay behind this rock, because I don't want them to spot me. So like there, I'm gonna freeze him over, hit him with a triple shot. Notice the bomb right there that guy fired. He basically fired a bomb and then he walked right into it. Oh, this is bad. Alright, I missed up there. Nice, he's coming towards me. Wow. That did not go that well. As you can see, the bombs are kind of exploding around me, and I'm trying to dodge them, but it's a little hard when you're trying to commentate at the same time. So as you can see, I'm charging up the bow to do maximum damage, or pulling back the bow. I missed that guy. Let's not... Wow. Just the last guy. Okay, this is a terrible excavation site, but okay. I guess we got it anyway. So right here, we are gonna choose Olin's Vader. First we talk to him. And since we're killing him, we're basically just gonna do the normal strat here, which is choose the option to the right here, and that's gonna finish him off. So a little fun fact, even in 100%, the longest category of this game, it's even faster to kill him because a side quest unlocks after this quest where you have to go save his family, as I've mentioned a couple of times. And if Olin is alive, you have to talk to him before and after in that side quest. So in 100%, it's even a lot faster to kill him. Because then you don't have to talk to him. And Aloy basically just tells his family that his last wish were them to be free, even though she was the one killing them. So it's a little awkward cutscene. Alright, let's see. Erend is right there to my left. So we need to talk to him as soon as we kill the 3 enemies coming up here for the next quest here. So this is the quest that kind of sets up the story about what happened to Erend's sister. And the reason why we need to find that out is because we need the help of the Oseram and the Karja tribe at the end of the game. So they will help us with the final fights. Alright, let's see if we can hit the horns here. So I'm obviously aiming for Machine's weak spots here, and I kind of messed up that guy. So basically, obviously, when you hit their weak spots, you do even more damage. So every time I'm shooting at something, it's usually towards their weak spot. Unfortunately, Erend spawned pretty far back, so I have to ride back for him. But it might actually be, a good thing because that allows us to maybe skip some conversation coming up here before the ambush. I should probably heal up here. So there we go. So if Erend right there is too far back, we're actually gonna skip some dialogue here, hopefully. Because when you are in a conversation, you're gonna get knocked off your mount. Because the game doesn't want you to get too far away from Erend here. But if he was already far away, he might not even... Oh, never mind. We got knocked off the mount. So if he's really far away at that spot... So if he's really far away, you can kind of avoid getting knocked off the mount there and kind of just ride to the spot here where you have to examine the blood. And for those, I guess, the places you examine the spots, you just basically have to examine one specific spot before you can move on. Sometimes it's one, sometimes one thing, or sometimes it's 2 things, or maybe 3 things. Kind of depends. But we're basically just only doing the necessary stuff when it comes to that. By the way, we're going to get knocked off a mount here again. It kind of looks like we're getting hit by a tree branch there, because there's conveniently a tree right there. But again, it's because the game doesn't want you to get too far away from Erend when you're trying to have a conversation. So now we're going to come up here to the ambush here. So this Might require some precise shots. Alright, if that guy doesn't... Alright, let's not miss that. But if that guy doesn't go down the sim line, it's very important that you kill him really fast, because otherwise he's actually going to glitch out and go behind cover up there, and it's pretty much impossible to kill him. So right here we're going to fight these Ravagers, which are basically like the Sawtooth of the start of the run, where we're basically just going to freeze them over and try to hit the triple shots in their head. Or right between the eyes, because that does the most damage. And hopefully we can craft ammo here while the cutscene is starting. Nice. So that's a nice little small time save, just crafting ammo before a cutscene starts. There's nice little small time saves throughout the run. Basically time saves during downtime, or where you're not actually doing anything else. Oh, missed the spot there. So right here we just have to examine the stuff and then we can move on. So we basically just learned that Aaron's sister is still alive, and the ambush was kind of faked. So now we're gonna just talk to Aaron here and then we'll be moving on. Again, loading the map twice because we don't want to see that cinematic load on the maps. I'm gonna set up our weapons here for the next fight here. When you set up your weapons like this, load in the triple shot or craft ammo, it's basically just gonna be there whenever you need it for the next fight. Whistling for my mount here. And then we're gonna be moving on our way. Let's see what RNG we get here across the river. As you can see, there's 2 Ravagers here, and hopefully one guy's definitely gonna spot us and the other guy is too, so hopefully we can stay far enough away from them so they don't do melee attacks. I guess they're roaring at us, so that's good. So you gotta be careful when you're riding around. As I said, on ultra hard, machines are a lot more aggressive towards you. So you kind of have to look out for the big machines when you're riding around the map and see their positioning. And you don't want to get too close, because if they do the melee attack, you're gonna get knocked off the mount, and it can be a big mess if that happens. So right here I'm gonna ride slightly to the left, even though I'm supposed to just go straight ahead. Now the reason why I'm doing this is to activate a campfire that I'm going to be using for later. So notice the bar in the top right, the campfire is going to turn green. That means I can fast travel to it later for when I need to get back here. And by the way, warning to headphone users, this might get a little loud while we cross the stairs out, because these enemies make a lot of noise if they attack. I guess they didn't attack, so I guess you guys are fine. Don't worry about it. So now we're going to be on our way to Maker's End, where we're going to have a couple of skips coming up here to, I guess, get faster into Maker's End and that sort of stuff. And there's going to be another big fight here at Maker's End. Alright, so basically what we're going to do here when we get to Maker's End is we're going to do a small skip that allows us to get into the actual fighting area. Where there's a forced fight we have to do. So we're basically gonna do a small skip to get in there slightly earlier and hit a cutscene trigger for the fight. And yeah, it basically saves a little bit of time, but it's a kind of a cool skip here. So it's coming up right here. So normally when you approach Maker's End here, there's going to be a lot of enemies, but we're kind of going to do a little route here that basically is convenient. I guess, what am I trying to say? English is not my first language right now, but doing this little route here is going to make sure that none of the enemies spot us in time for us, so we can do the skip kind of in peace. There's going to be a watcher there. He's most likely going to see. I actually didn't see us. That's good. We're gonna jump up here and then we're gonna abuse the hitboxes up here for these beams here. It's a little precise, so let's see if we get it. Alright, we got that part. There's still more to this. Gonna jump across here. Nice, we got the skip first try. That's really good. So now we're inside the fight and we just wait for the cutscene to start like that. And then we take out the Deathbringer here. This Deathbringer is already on half health, so I can just kill him in 2 shots. Nice, got 2 for 1 there. Alright. And then we just need to finish off the archers. I guess he didn't die. Oh, did I just shoot under his arm? Alright. So that was that fight. It's a fairly simple fight, but most of the enemies are aggressive enough to come towards you. By the way, this screen is gonna go really bright there. And right here, I'm just gonna wait for a second to jump down this elevator shaft. If you don't jump down that elevator shaft before the conversation there starts, the game is gonna soft lock, which is kind of annoying. So if you go too fast, it's gonna soft lock you there. Gonna jump across the statue to get upstairs early. We actually just skipped 2 floors of the building, but do that little skip there across the Deathbringer statue there. And right now we're just gonna climb to the top of the building here, where we're gonna have to watch our first kind of forced hologram we have to watch. But there are some things we have to do while we're watching that hologram. So So right here we're going to do a little technique to kind of skip some climbing here. So Aloy's climbing animations are very slow. So basically whenever we have a chance, we want to try to skip her climbing around. So a technique we do for that, basically climbing is not that well done in this game, I guess you could say. So basically if you grab onto... So basically, if you go across gaps like these, Aloy will, if you just don't jump normally across them, Aloy will normally gravitate towards the lowest climbing spot there. But when you roll and then jump off a roll, a little roll jump, Aloy is gonna have enough momentum to kind of skip over the entire gap. It's a little weird thing, even though you have enough momentum on a regular jump, the game still won't allow you to cross the gap. So you kind of have to do a little roll and then jump to skip across those gaps to avoid multiple climbing animations here. So you're going to see it again here. I'm going to roll and then jump. As you can see, she grabs onto the top climbing spot instead of the bottom one. Because, yeah, climbing is very slow. So if we can avoid it, we want to avoid it. And, yeah, I guess if we have a little donation, we can do that now.
Well, we have $15 from Anita Bone saying Dog's Life was the best run I've ever seen. Actually, I'd like to take a minute to you know, do a little advertising on the upcoming donation incentives and bid wars. For the very next run, which is actually no, that's not right. But for the run that's coming in a few hours, it's Skip 2, any percent, no numpad skips by Ifon and Fatk. There's the incentive for the blue and red ending, which is either helping the machine or attempting to kill the machine. Both endings are right now at $0, so you know gotta get up. If you want to see a particular ending, you can get those dollars going. And also there's an incentive for showing off the Banta stage in Dunshada, the Lightning stage, any percent, which is also coming up in a few hours. And right now it's on $100 out of $400. So, and I'm actually interested in that one. So you know you can help out.
All right. So right here we are forced to watch these holograms here while we wait. And it basically explains why the apocalypse happens, this hologram. So this guy, Ted Farrow, the dude, he basically thought it would be a good idea to make AI military robots capable of self-replication. And yeah, I guess you can kind of figure out what happened there. So basically the entire military army he built kind of went rogue. And yeah. It kind of started the apocalypse. So there's 2 more holograms we have to watch, but I guess I have a little thing we can show off here while on the second hologram. So do you guys like a little magic trick here? So let's do that. Let's make Aloy disappear, alright? Are you guys ready? So we're just gonna do this, walk right into this post. So, as I said, most things in this game has a hitbox or some sort of collision, except for this pillar, for some reason. For some reason, the developers forget to get this pillar any collision. So you can just basically walk into it. Anybody can do this if they want to play the game. And the same thing is for the pillar up here as well. You can also walk into that one. And the same with this one. Because they are the same type, so... That's just a little oversight by the developers they probably should have thought about. So coming up after this, we're gonna go back to helping the Nora tribe, which is the quest we set up earlier. Where we're gonna finish off the War Chief's trial. But we still have another hologram to watch here. So the last hologram is gonna start here. Now the thing with the mount is you cannot call your mount when you're inside a settlement or inside a building. And technically right now we're inside a building, but there's another developer oversight here at this building that we are just gonna abuse to save a slight bit of time on the next quest. So basically this balcony outside, basically counts as being outside. So if you walk to the edge of the platform here, you can just call for a mount and it just randomly disappears out of nowhere up here, allowing you to ride around for a bit, have a little bit of fun. Oh, what? And the game crashed. And that's only the third time ever I've seen this game crash. So I guess it happened in a marathon. Alright, luckily the game autosaved, so I don't know. I think we're just going to be back at the last hologram. So let's just get back into the game. Thanks, Sony. Well done. Wow. Let's get right back into this. Of course, in a marathon run, the game were to crash.
It's okay.
Thanks.
This is a good luck cut.
Thank you. So hopefully the rest of the run will go absolutely perfect from now on. Sincerely doubt it, but hey, what can you do? So let's just hit continue here and see where the game puts us. So that was a big time loss. And I swear to God, I've only ever seen this game crash 3 times on the current patch. And it's usually really random when it does it. So I can't tell you why it does it or how to avoid it. And it's never been in the same spot, so what can you do? Alright, we're basically back at the last hologram here. So again, we're gonna call for the mount here to get him on top of the building here, because when you are on your mount and you fast travel, you're gonna carry your mount through the fast travel. So basically after the fast travel, after this hologram here, we are gonna yeah, what am I trying to say? Yeah, basically after we're done watching this last hologram, oh shit, we're gonna jump back on the mount and we'll be able to fast travel with it, saving a little bit of time on the next spot. So right here, I'm just standing with the mount right here, because as soon as this hologram is done, there's gonna be a cutscene trigger spawning here, or I guess a conversation trigger, where we're gonna be talking to Silence. So now we're just waiting for this little hologram to finish. So I guess if there's any donation right now, you can fit in like a 1 donation or something just while we wait.
We don't have any donations at the moment, but I can tell you that if your hunger for food matches your hunger for speedruns, you can use that at Domino's Pizza, because if you happen to live in Sweden, with the promotional offer code ESA 2018, you can get a 20% discount at all the Swedish restaurants.
Alright, here are the conversation spawns, so just gonna quickly go through it. And as soon as it's over, I'm gonna go straight to my mount. Where is he? He's on the table. And we fast travel out of here. So now we're gonna go back to the War Chief's trial quest, which was the one we set up earlier. So hopefully we don't have any more inconveniences in this run, because yeah, I guess the tech crew is kind of happy because we might get back on schedule now. with a crash like that. All right. So now we're gonna get to the War Chief's trial here. So basically, there's just gonna be a spot we have to examine here before we can get to the basically the fight, or where we meet up with Sona, who is the War Chief of the Nor. And the reason why we're doing this quest, story-wise, is the Nor basically wants revenge after we got attacked at the Proving, and basically all our friends were killed. Friends is kind of debatable if you know the story, but oh well. So basically here we're just going to go up to this little campfire. It is basically just one thing we have to examine, and then we can move on. Just have to examine the bandages here. I think I examined the bandages. I kind of don't know because it was in German. But the quest is progressing, so I guess I did it correctly. If only I listened to my teacher in school and actually learned German, that would have helped. So we're just gonna go across here and then we'll meet up with Sona here. Gonna do a little bit of roll jumping again here on the next two spots here to avoid some climbing. Because again, if we have a chance to skip climbing, we are gonna do it, because it's really slow, and that I messed up that roll. Let's just bag it up here and try again. So now, right after we meet up with Sona here at the Sawtooth here, it's very important we go fast. Obviously it's a speed run, but also we want to make a certain cycle for the fight here. So there's going to be two scrabbers in this fight, and conveniently they are going to be walking right next to some blaze. And blaze are basically like explosive barrels, so we're going to try to land shots in between the scrabbers and the blaze. And hopefully take them out, both of them, in one shot if we make the cycle. It's also possible to go so fast that you kind of get too early for the cycle, but I don't think that should be a problem at this point. We'll see. And then afterwards, we're basically just going to use a blastling to finish off the rest of the enemies, and then because we have to clear out all of them here. So let's see how it goes. I think we're on the right cycle here. So as you can see, the two scrabbers are right in between barrels of blaze, and that's just gonna absolutely wreck them. And that guy just avoided my shot. It's very important you take out the watchers there very fast, so they don't do their blind attacks. They have an attack, if they hit you with that, you're gonna be blind for a small period of time, kind of like a flashbang. The last guy is right over here behind cover, so hopefully he's gonna peek. Kind of have to angle that. Okay. Alright, I guess we have NAM right now. Why am I messing those up? Wow, come on. By the way, the Nord tribe right here is supposed to help you, but they don't really do anything. There we go. Alright, that last guy is really annoying, because if you're not fast enough with the first couple of guys, he's basically going to be behind that rock all the time. So you actually have to be really fast in order to make the certain fight where he doesn't go behind the rock, or where you basically have a chance to shoot him before he goes behind that rock. Right here, I'm just going to loot the enemies around this spot so they don't get in the way for when I have to talk to Sona and Val here. And by the way, you might have noticed that I craft ammo while conversation is going on. So basically what that does is, normally when you craft ammo, the game slows down, which is obviously not a good idea during a speedrun. But if conversation is going on at the same time, you cannot get slowed down, because conversation is not able to slow down. So it kind of cancels each other out. So now we're going to go into the next quest, which is Revenge of the Nor, which is a little special quest actually. Because we're actually going to do it quite unintended way. We're basically going to do the entire quest before we even start the quest. Kind of a sequence break, if you will. So basically, after you complete the War Chief's trial, what happens is that all the objectives for the next quest has already spawned in. allowing us to basically do all the objectives of the quest before we even start the quest, which is very convenient because then we can take a faster route to the objectives. And it also eliminates a good amount of RNG that's going to happen. A good amount of RNG that will happen at that spot, normally if you play through it the regular way. So basically you have to ride through a big sawtooth spawn, which have a high potential of knocking you off, but we can skip that since we're going straight for the objectives. And basically this quest, what you have to do, you have to clear out 3 camps, and then you can go inside the Ring of Metal or Denver Broncos Stadium. So basically remember this is a post-apocalyptic game, and it takes place in the western part of the US. So right now we are technically inside Denver, some city in the US. Some people might have heard of it. So yeah, right now we're on the way to objective. And another thing with the whole skipping starting the quest thing is also normally the Nora tribe will kind of help you out with the camps. But since you never start the quest, they're not going to help you. And that's actually very convenient because if they get in the way, they can kind of alert enemies and put them in a different spot than you want them to be in. Just going to go slightly to the left there again to activate a campfire. We're going to use in a little bit. And coming up here is the first camp. You're going to see a lot of explosions here. Hopefully, if it works out well. Going to take out that scrapper, switch to firearms here, and do a little snipe on the barrel. Kind of missed. There we go. Both of them are dead all the way in the back. And right there, we take out that guy. And right there, we finish off the first camp like that, and I guess a mount just died to some random enemies behind him. That's a little odd. So that's how you clear the first camp. You can basically just abuse the blaze barrels that are right in the middle of the camp to kind of take out the enemies in the back that normally would be behind cover, and you would have to wait for them to peek or alert them to get out there. The second camp here coming up, we're going to be very stealthy going through it, except for the last 2 enemies. So we're not going to use the blaze barrels. And the reason for that is enemies at the second camp are right next to an alarm. And if they hit that alarm, more enemies are going to spawn, and that's obviously going to lose a lot of time. So we're going to get off a mount here, and then hopefully hit these guys without any trouble. Without alerting them, it's very important. It's a headshot on that guy, because he has more health than the others. And right there, nice and easy. Gonna yell for a mount here before we kill the third guy, because that allows a mount to catch up to us once we have killed the last guy. Like so. Gonna get a little in the way of my mount. Get back here. That was a little slow mount there. Normally he will catch up to you after you kill the last enemy, but I guess I was kind of blocking his path, so he kind of just stopped. I guess he's kind of programmed to just stop when he's next to you, so you can ride him, but obviously you want him to catch up, so you can just basically be on the go immediately. Third camp here, kind of the same thing. We want to be stealthy again for the, except the last guys. I actually thought I missed that shot, but we did hit it. Just gonna switch from the arrows here, and then the last guys here in the trenches. These 2 guys are perfectly gonna line up, and the last guy is gonna be in the back, like so. Nice and easy. So the last enemies there get alerted, and they nicely line up for the blast sling there, so I can kill 2 in 1. And the last guy is kind of gonna expose himself for a nice and easy shot. So remember, we still haven't started the quest, but for some reason, even when we clear that 3 camps, Sona and Val is just gonna spawn here, even though we never talk to them at the start of the quest. But it's very convenient because now we can just go straight into the Ring of Metal. By the way, this cutscene is, for some reason, this cutscene is unskippable. There's a few of them, but this one is just random, why you can't skip it. So inside Ring of Metal, we're going to have a large battle with a lot of Eclipse troops. So basically what we have to do is we have to go in there and set off some blaze that's going to take out some corruptors before they get in use. and that's kind of a way to get revenge on these guys. So I'm just gonna heal up here for a little bit of safety, because I don't want to go in there on low health. It's kind of risky if you die. But the thing we're going to do is, first of all, we are going to ignore the first couple of enemies here at the start, because you don't have to kill them. But once you get inside the actual ring of metal, or as I said, Denver Bronco Stadium, you have to kill all the enemies in there. Now, the first wave is already going to be spawned in there, and there are going to be more waves spawning, but there are 2 set spawn points they can come from. So we just have to see what happens. But the first wave, we're going to do a little special trick here. Using the bellow back, we're going to see right here. So this large enemy with a lot of blaze on its back, we're going to use that to basically take out a lot of enemies. First, we're just going to make sure he's low on health, like so. And then we're going to switch to the fire arrows, and then hopefully we're going to get most of the enemies... Getting a little bit blocked here. Hopefully we're going to get most of the enemies to kind of chase us towards this place. Because then they're going to be nicely grouped up for a little trick we're going to do as soon as we have set up this place here. So if they're nicely grouped together here, we are going to basically be able to use the bellow back to take out most of them here. So as you can see, they're kind of really nicely grouped together, and we can basically take them out really fast here. And I'm kind of waiting for the bellow back to get up here. While I do that, I just kill some of the guys, and here he is. So we're gonna hit the last remaining blaze on his neck here. That's gonna take out a lot of the remaining enemies here. So now we have to look out for the spawns for the next couple of waves, and we got the spawn in the back here. So I'm basically trying to hit some shots where I hopefully can kill multiple at once. It's very important I hit the ground and not hit the enemies directly, because if I hit the ground, there's basically gonna be more splash damage with this blastling. So if you pay attention, you can see a lot of enemies kind of die grouped together, and that's another wave. So now the last wave should have spawned, and they spawn in the back again, I think. Yeah, there they are. They're a little slow to get around today. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. And that clears the ring of metal. So basically you have to pay attention to the spawns you get there. They are random, but as long as you pay attention, you should be able to do it the same way every time. Either they're going to spawn to the left or towards the back there. So it's just kind of notice where they are, and hopefully you can get them. If you're really fast, you can get them while they're still grouped up. And hit them and knock them out while you're in the middle of it. Hit them while they're grouped up, so you can take out multiple at once. So right here we're actually going to start the quest. We still have to start the quest, but now it's conveniently on the way. And as you can see, because we already completed all the objectives, the quest is just going to instantly complete once we start it. So that's very convenient. And you might think, well, you have already done all the objectives, so why don't you just move on? You still have to start the quest, otherwise the game is not gonna count the quest as completed. And if the quest is not completed, the game is gonna soft-log a little later on. And it's actually gonna soft-log so much, because if you leave the area after completing all the objectives without starting it, Sona and Val is gonna despawn, and then you can't even start or finish the quest. So the game is just gonna continuously be soft-logged. Oh. And the fun thing is, I kind of learned that the hard way when I found that skip back in the day. Or back in the day, I mean a couple of months ago. But because the game doesn't actually soft-log until you get to a quest a little later on. So I basically thought I could just skip it. But then when I got to that quest, I realized the game was soft-logged. So sometimes you kind of have to learn the hard way when you're testing stuff in speedrunning. Now we're going to be on the way to the Grave Horde. It's another mission about the past, where we're going to have another important fight that I'm hopefully going to execute perfectly compared to some of the other fights we have had in this game so far. I will say I haven't really been playing the best here, but it is really early in the morning and I'm kind of tired. So let's let's get some excuses to why I'm not playing at my best right now. And also the game crashed, so that doesn't really help either.
Do we have time for a few donations?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so we have $5 from Anthony Caliber saying good luck with the run, Elkjaer. Sorry about the blue screen.
Yeah, thanks. Anthony Caliber is a really good The Last of Us runner, and he knows a lot about blue screens. He probably has the absolute worst blue screen I've ever seen on a PlayStation. So, but yeah. Anyway, more donations if you want.
Alrighty, we got $15 from Sydney SE. What an amazing runner Elkjaer is. I'm really enjoying watching this. Sending love from the USA. Kikona! My ear, bros. We got $10 from Anonymous saying, "Talk Elkjaer. He's doing amazing and he doesn't need to be nervous."
Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous, but oh well. First marathon run ever, so I guess if I didn't have nerves, I wouldn't be human. So coming up right here, we're gonna do a little puzzles here. Normally you have to... anyway, gonna do them backwards then. Kinda messed up a little bit of jump around there. I guess it's the nerves. I probably have a couple of 10,000 people watching me right now. It's a little bit weird to think about. But basically these puzzles, normally you have to use your focus to scan the area and you get a clue for these puzzles, but the answer's always the same, lucky for us, so we can just memorize them and plug them in. It's gonna be a nice little trick later on. So here's what I attempted to do. I still failed it, so that's how good I am at this game. But at least people are telling me I'm doing a good job in the donations, so keep donating to save the children, guys. And yeah, I'll attempt to play a little better, hopefully. So you basically jump around there instead of climbing there, because again, Aloy's climbing animation is just incredibly slow. So we're just gonna be moving around instead. So all these enemies can just be ignored. A lot of people tend to fight them because I know it's in German right now, but the objective actually says you have to kill all the enemies here. But you can actually just ignore them for some reason. The game just allows you to do that, even though it doesn't really do that in a whole lot of other places. By the way, we just did a little skip there to skip a lot of climbing there. It kind of looked intended, I guess, if you don't know what you're supposed to do. Is it a little weird that the silence voice in German kind of reminds me of the commander from the old Red Alert games? Well, it might just be me. Anyway, coming up here is the next fight here, where we are gonna have to fight another Deathbringer. Now, this fight is a little trickier than the last one, because this one is gonna be at full health. So we're gonna have to freeze him. Now, the problem with this is it would be easy if we could just freeze him and take him out, but there are some human enemies around him. And they're gonna try to attack me while I'm doing it. So hopefully I'm gonna be able to take out some of them here while I'm fighting, or before I start fighting the Deathbringer here. So the first one is just gonna be right next to me while I rappel down. But then there's gonna be two guys next to the Deathbringer I wanna take out. Hopefully both of them. Because that's gonna make the Deathbringer fight slightly easier, and they are nicely exposed. It's kinda random, sometimes they're behind the Deathbringer and it's kinda hard to take them out. So I'm gonna go all the way up close to this Deathbringer to kind of bait him in to do that little stomp attack. Now the reason why I do that is so I don't lose too much health, because as you could see, he when he does the stomp attack, he basically couldn't attack me for once there, and that was actually a really clean fight. If I had my splits right now, that would probably be a gold. So I think in that fight that I guess people didn't notice is while I was freezing the Deathbringer, as soon as he was frozen, I kind of started going back towards the left side of the room. And the reason for that is as soon as you kill all the enemies, the door is going to unlock. And basically the closer you are to the door when you finish it, obviously the less time you're going to spend having to walk to that door. So it's a nice little touch in the fight. But that was a really clean fight. I guess that's kind of some good luck for the late game here, since we are probably roughly halfway through. So right here we are supposed to watch a hologram here, but well, we don't have to watch this hologram. We can basically just go and collect some stuff we're going to be needing for the next upcoming thing. Basically pick up a lot of medicine that's going to help us, because there's going to be a scripted sequence in the next quest we're going to do, which most likely going to take off some health. So if you can use medicine instead of health potions, it's just it's just very nice. Because we want to have the health potions to watch the end of the game, so we can tank a lot more damage. So this is a little hard to do in German. I'm kind of waiting for the dialogue to start here to craft ammo while the dialogue is going on. Again, as I said, whenever you craft ammo, the game slows down, but if a dialogue is going on, the game cannot slow down, kind of cancelling it out. So basically the hologram going on right here is basically all the generals of, I guess, the US military figures out about the robot problem, and turns out they don't have a solution for it, other than sending everybody who can to the front line with a gun and basically holding off the robots for as long as they can. So that's kind of the battle plan for that, to give Elizabeth Sobeck enough time to make Project Zero Dawn happen.
We got time for a few quick ones?
Yeah, I guess 1 or 2, yeah.
Okay, so we got $30 from Hydration Bot saying, "Hi everyone, Hydration Bot here. You have been live for 1 hour. You should have drank 4 ounces of water by now."
So now we can just leave here, but one more if you want.
So we got $10 from player to be named later saying, "Great job, Elkjaer. Hope you get some water soon."
Yeah, that would help. So right there, we are supposed to take that zipline down, and Aloy kind of talks to herself. But if you just walk to the very edge of that platform, you can just fast travel immediately. Normally the game doesn't allow you to fast travel before you have taken the zipline. And the zipline ride is like 30 seconds, so it's kind of nice. You can just stand on the edge of that platform, and for some reason the game just thinks you have taken the zipline and allows you to fast travel. So now we're going to go back to Meridian again to set up another quest we're going to do later called Into the Borderlands, where we are going to figure out more about Aaron's sister, and spoiler alert, we're actually going to find her. So not really much to do here in Meridian. Basically just going to go talk to the Sun King, and he's going to tell us that he has some inside information about the stuff, I believe it is. It's been a while since I watched the cutscenes, so if I'm messing up the lore, I'm sorry, because I know a lot of people really care about the lore of this game. But yeah, I think I haven't watched the cutscenes since December, so yeah, blame me if you want. Right here we are supposed to follow Marat here, again walk into the end here. The cutscene is not going to start until Marat gets here, but we can just walk to the end, and Ervad and Aaron is just going to blankly stare into the air here while we wait. So yeah, it's going to look a little weird. So as soon as Marat here gets here, the cutscene is going to start, and then we can move on. Fast travel out of here. Fun fact, when I first learned this game, I tend to forget a lot that I should go to Meridian after the Grave Horde. So basically what I did is I created a split specifically just for going to Meridian, even though there's no combat and you should get the same time every time. I just had to create that split so I never forgot it. Because there would be a lot of runs when I first started running this game where I basically forgot to go to Meridian, so like halfway through or like a little later through the one, I would realize it and had to go there. And basically we are doing it there just because it minimizes the load times, because it's on the way to the next thing, which is Eclipse Space. And basically the longer you fast travel in this game, the longer the load screens are going to be. Luckily for me, I have an SSD installed in my PS4, so my load screens are basically cut in half compared to regular HDD consoles. But leaderboards has recently changed on speedrun.com to do loadless time, so I guess even if you don't have an SSD upgraded PS4, you can still do competitive runs. Because otherwise a lot of records would be unobtainable without having to go out and buy an SSD. So now we're gonna go up to the Eclipse base, which is actually an interesting quest, because this quest is actually, in my personal opinion, it's actually easier on ultra hard, and there's a fly in my face right now. Another little bit of RNG. But yeah, so this section here is funny enough actually easier on ultra hard than it is on easy difficulty, and it stems from a certain long leg we're gonna see. But by the way, first of all, I have to read the enemies here. I have to see their position, because I don't want them to spot me before I am over the next bridge here. I think we're good. Yeah, we're good. So basically you can see the Ravager right there to my right. If the other guys were... okay, we're still not good. Never mind. But basically most of the time, if those bellowbacks or the other Ravager spots you before you get over those bridges, that Ravager next to the bridge is just gonna mess you up. But yeah, so coming up here at Eclipse Base, basically what's gonna happen is we're gonna have to climb a tree. I know, exciting. But basically there's gonna be a long leg, one of the machines right next to the tree. Now the reason why it's easier to do on ultra hard is because you want the long leg to attack you before you climb the tree. Because if he attacks you while you're climbing the tree, you're gonna get knocked off the tree. And on ultra hard, the machines are more aggressive, so luring somebody into attacking you is just a lot easier when they're more aggressive. So hopefully we're gonna do that. So basically what's gonna happen is I'm gonna go straight ahead and try to go straight ahead at the long leg, and hopefully he's gonna attack me before I climb the tree. And then we pray that then we need some prayers that the long leg doesn't shoot me while I'm on a rope on top of the tree. There's a backup for if he does shoot me down, but it's a lot slower, so I don't want it to happen. And then after that we're gonna do probably the hardest skip of the one run, which is the gate skip here at Eclipse Base. So right here we just have to save at this campfire here, and then we go straight into the long leg situation that I just explained. So you can see the long leg right there. It's the big bird machine behind the watcher. So right there, yes, he did attack me, so that's very good. So right there, and that gives us enough time to climb the tree before he can launch into a new attack. But that...
if you have a moment.
What?
If you have a moment.
Oh yeah, thank you. So right there, he can shoot us down while we're on this, I guess, rope. But he didn't. So now we just have to go through these scrappers. Now coming up is the gate skip, as I said. It's probably the hardest skip of the game. It's at least the hardest one for me to get correctly. So let's see how it goes. So basically we're gonna jump across a nice, huge gate, allowing us to skip an entire fight here. So we're gonna take out this guy, and then we're gonna try to line up here. First try, let's go. Alright. So jumping over across that gate allows us to skip that entire fight. That skip was actually found by a guy called Sushi Saif. I'm probably butchering his name. But it basically allows us to skip the entire fight there. And that fight used to be really random when we had to do it. Because all the enemies there are just... should I get some water? Is it the chat saying my... Right? I guess the chat didn't like my voice. Sorry about that. So yeah, basically that fight used to be really random because all the enemy positions were random and you had to headshot most of them. Alright, so now we just have to escape here, and this was the thing I talked about. It's fairly scripted. We are gonna lose health here, but hopefully not that much. Aloy has a really interesting voice when she's aggressive. In German, that is. This is actually the first time I'm doing a full playthrough in German. I have attempted to play German before, but just for fun, but hopefully you guys are enjoying it because you donated for it. Alright, we barely lost any health. As I said that, I got hit by an axe. This is not going well. Whenever I basically say something went well, I guess it turns into a bad thing. So we just have to escape here, and then we'll be on our way to Project Zero Dawn here. So this scene is very scripted. It's a little bit stable of PlayStation games sometimes. They tend to have very scripted... they tend to really like their scripted stuff. With chase scenes and stuff like that. If you've seen the Uncharted games, a lot of scripted stuff in that. So Horizon, I guess, had to have it too, because it looks good. Cinematic and stuff, but it's not really that interesting in a speedrun, because nothing really happens. So I basically just fast travel to the campfire. I activated before going to Maker's End, by the way. If you remember, I went slightly to the left in order to activate a campfire. So now we're going to go inside Project Zero Dawn here, where we are basically going to figure out what Project Zero Dawn is. So I guess I have time to explain that. So Project Zero Dawn was basically an AI created to rebuild the Earth after the apocalypse happened. An AI that consists of multiple AIs, and they kind of work together in rebuilding the Earth. First, clean up the atmosphere after the robots have destroyed everything, using machines to do so. So all the machines you see around in the game actually have a purpose. Like the birds fly around, clean the atmosphere. Some of them go around and plant plants. And if you've played the DLC, you will know why most of the machines are aggressive. But that's for the DLC to explain that, I guess. I guess you kind of learn it in the main game, but in a different place. So we're gonna do a skip here once we are done with this cutscene coming up here. A little tricky skip, because we have to skip a lot of climbing. We have to climb down to like the entrance to Zero Dawn here. But we're gonna jump down instead. So we're just gonna line it up here. Nice, got it. So if you miss that, you're basically gonna die. I guess I have time to take some water while Silence talks here. Remember to stay hydrated, kids. So inside Zero Dawn is a very hectic place when you are going fast. It's gonna be a couple of skips, and there's gonna be some fights. You wanna basically not miss too many shots, because if you miss too many shots, the enemies are either gonna run behind cover or kill you immediately, which is obviously not something we want to happen. And for some reason there's somebody vacuuming next to me. That's a little odd. So here at the start of Zero Dawn, there's not really much. We're just gonna go through, skip the cutscenes that explains the AIs rebuilding the Earth. But coming up is a very important fight with three basically heavy enemies that has a lot of armor, and they're using like some cannons that shoots sort of fireworks. And it's very important that we take out the first guy with a headshot very, very fast. Because if all three of them are alive and shooting us at the same time, we're pretty much going to be dead instantly. So hopefully we can take out the first guy in first try. Because that's otherwise it's going to be really challenging here. Oh, fair enough. Oh well. Only makes the run harder, and the harder it is, the more fun it is, I guess. Anyway, the fight is coming up here, so let's see how it goes. Hopefully we get the first guy on the first shot. His head is gonna wobble a bit, so there we go, he didn't get him on the first shot. As you can see, we're just losing a lot of health very fast if all three of them are shooting at once, and I'm messing up the headshots there. Nice, okay. And right here we're going to do a very interesting skip here. So normally you have to do a puzzle to get upstairs, but if you just go here and squeeze Aloy into that little spot there, you can actually grab what you're supposed to get upstairs to repair this puzzle. What the hell? That was a little bit weird on my controller. But yeah, basically we squeeze Aloy's hitbox through the floor by jumping into that very specific spot there at the back corner. And that allows, when the hitbox goes through the floor, we can pick up the emitter to repair the puzzle. So we basically skip the first puzzle and having to go upstairs. Nice. So killing those first three guys are very nice. The reason I am not shooting these guys, they have a invincible frames here until they get down their zip lines here. Nice, got the headshot on that guy. As you can see, if you're not fast enough, they will run for cover immediately. That was pretty clean except for the leader there. So a couple more skips here to finish off Zero Dawn here. We're basically going to skip an entire room of enemies coming up here with basically a Zero Dawn skip, I guess we call it. Usually we don't get skips names, we just say skip inside Zero Dawn for the most part. But basically you have to go through this catwalk and you go to the back end of the room. But there's a nice little convenient hitbox we're going to use here on this kind of pillar here to jump over the catwalk here and land right next to the exit here, allowing us to skip the entire room full with enemies that were right there. And then we just have to get to Elizabeth Sobek's office and we're done. Gonna skip up to the catwalk a little early there so we don't have to take the stairs at the other side of the room. And now as soon as we're into the office here, we're gonna get captured by the Eclipse, and they're gonna throw us into the Sun Ring. The Sun Ring is gonna be a pretty interesting fight here. So I'm gonna try my best to explain it, even though it's kinda hard to do. So basically we're going to be fighting a behemoth here. So we're going to get thrown into the Sun Ring here and we're going to be fighting a behemoth. We don't have any weapons at the start because they've been taken away, so we have to knock down 2 pillars to get our weapons back. And you're supposed to get the behemoth to charge into these pillars. So we're going to go to this pillar here. This is the intended way. You basically just stand next to the pillar and wait for the behemoth to charge into it. But the second pillar is a little bit more interesting, because normally he doesn't do a charge attack immediately after the second one, so we are gonna go to the second pillar very fast here and stand in this specific corner. That's gonna make him attack the pillar, and that knocks it down. That was quite perfect. Now the reason why he does that, even though it's not a charge attack, is because the behemoth can actually see through the pillars because they are a breakable object, allowing him to do a normal attack on that pillar if you stand in the correct spot. And I also did kind of a half circle around the arena to not get too close to the behemoth. Otherwise he would have attacked me before I got behind the pillar. So it's a little interesting. But if you played this casually, you would know that it takes a lot longer to get him to knock down the pillars. And now all there's left to do is get the quick kill here on the behemoth, hopefully. Again, when I'm using the freeze here, oh, he's just gonna bump me. So again, when I'm freezing the behemoth here, I'm aiming for his weak spot. Whenever you freeze enemies, you wanna shoot at the weak spot. And by the way, we just got the quick kill there. You can actually kill him in 2 shots like I did there. So basically, when you freeze him, if you shoot him twice in the eyes, he's just gonna die. You can also shoot the canisters on his head, but you don't want to do that because they explode and they knock you off. So if you hit his eyes, which is a harder target to hit, you're not gonna get knocked over by the behemoth explosions. So yeah, it's a very short fight, and it's kind of hard to explain all the things that goes into it. So hopefully somebody understand it out there. So now we're gonna go back to the Embrace, which is currently under attack by the Eclipse, where we're gonna have one of the toughest fights of the game with a Thunderjaw here. And the Thunderjaw is the T-Rex looking dinosaur that is on the cover of Horizon. I guess most people have seen that machine somewhere, because it was like a big promotion for the game, that Thunderjaw. So we're just gonna ignore the first enemies here. They don't really matter. Gonna just set up our weapons here so they're ready for the fight here. Coming up with the Thunderjaw. Hopefully I can nail the quick kill on this one as well. We got it on the Behemoth, so hopefully we can get it on the Thunderjaw as well. The Thunderjaw is a little harder. So basically the way you're gonna be able to tell, if I use the Rattler weapon, which is basically kind of a arrow shotgun thing, that means I didn't get the quick kill. But hopefully I do get it. But first thing we're gonna do, we have to Skyrim our way up the mountain here. And when I say Skyrim up the mountain, is because everybody who has ever played Skyrim probably just walked up the side of mountains instead of taking the actual roads. And we're gonna do that here just to avoid a lot of enemies that are down to the right. It's also slightly faster going up this hill. Now, coming up here, when I get to the top here, I am gonna shoot at the Thunderjaw and then run to... what's it? Just gonna hit that little spot there. There we go. So the reason why I'm gonna hit this Thunderjaw here is to get his attention, and hopefully he will start attacking me. Like so. Now that's gonna start the cutscene a little bit earlier when you come from the back. Then hopefully I can go around this rock and avoid his attacks here. It's very important we watch out for his tail here. Believe it or not, the tail of the Thunderjaw is actually his strongest weapon. Alright, there we go. He's ignoring me now. That's good. So let's switch to a weapon. Knock off the plate there that exposes his heart. Nice, we got 2,000 damage there. That's really good. Hopefully another one, and then we're gonna pick up this conveniently located machine gun on the floor here. Watch out for the tail. This is scary. Alright, we didn't get the quick kill, but we almost got it. Wow. Alright, he's dead. I kind of messed up the triple kill. Normally when you shoot for his heart there in the middle, you want to see 4,000 damage, and it's actually possible if you nail the shot correctly, allowing you to skip having to use the Rattler there. But we still got a pretty clean kill. There's still an Eclipse guy left there. There we go. Now we have to find Val. And he's hiding over here. He likes to hide. He has a cross on Aloy, so I guess that's why he's a little shy. So now we're just gonna go inside All Mother to get a little bit more story. This is basically where we learned that sadly Aloy has no mother, which was kind of what she was sent out into the world to find out. It turns out that she was born inside a machine, or I guess an artificial womb, if you will, by the AI in order to kind of try and save the world, because all of the AIs have gone rogue. And yeah, again, it's a lot of story and I don't really have time to explain it all. But yeah, just gonna go through this and do a little bit of exposition. So I guess if we have a quick donation or something from the donation reader here.
Right here, so we have $5 from Anonymous saying, saved my donations for this awesome game. Good luck, ElkjaerTV.
Thanks.
A few more perhaps?
Yeah, I guess 2 more, I guess.
So we have $5 from Anonymous saying, great run. Would someone please give the runner a glass of water?
Is my voice that bad?
We have $10 from Sydney SE saying, chat thinks your voice is great, we just didn't want you to be thirsty. K-Kona!
Thank you, guys. Thanks for thinking about me. Alright, so we're just gonna leave the area now here. A little annoying thing with this being inside All Mother Mountain here, the game doesn't allow you to fast travel until you're outside for whatever reason. There's a lot of conversations you can have with all the people in here and basically talk to them about stuff, and I guess the game developers really wanted you to do that, so we just gonna skip that and go outside, and then we can fast travel to the next quest, which is the Borderlands quest we did set up when we were talking to King of Art earlier. And the Borderlands, I guess, quest has a very tricky fight at the end that hopefully we're gonna nail. But as I said, it's one of the hardest fights to nail in the game, and one of the things I probably practice the most in this game. But we'll see how it goes. So yeah, we're just gonna ride up to the quest. I guess if there were a few more donations, you can put them in here.
Alright, so we have $5 from Spacey saying, Elkjaer, chat just wants to tell you we got you water because we care. Don't feel bad, just feel hydrated.
I will.
And also we got $50 from Anonymous saying, thanks Elkjaer for the great and thorough commentary and always happy to support a great cause. Cheers from the US.
Thank you. I guess I should probably make a tutorial video on my YouTube about how to pronounce my name. But to be fair, I don't expect anybody outside of Scandinavia to ever be able to say it, so it's whatever. Anyway, I guess 2 more donations, if you will. If you have them, or something about Save the Children, maybe.
Actually, I'm gonna take a while to talk about Save the Children. It was founded nearly 100 years ago and today works in 120 countries, known to be one of the most efficient and effective charities in the world and one of a few that focus on children. Last year, Save the Children helped more than 157 million children around the globe. Thank you all for donating.
Alright, so now we're gonna do the Borderlands quest here. We're just gonna ride past this guy. He always dies on my runs. For some reason this scripted event with that shell walker happens every time. It doesn't really do anything. But coming up here, we're gonna first go to Pittscliff to kind of set up the quest where we basically have to look for Marat's agent, who has the inside information about Aaron's sister. But it turns out when we get into town that he has been killed, and we figure out where the killers are, and we're gonna go to their workshop right after. But you might have noticed I actually wrote the amount past Pittscliff there. It's because when you ride past it, you have a good way to get out of town right after you're done here, which I'm gonna show here. So first we just have to quickly go through town here. Go up here and find the agent who is dead on the floor, unfortunately. I wonder how much the story would actually have changed if he was alive, since we already know where the enemies are. Kind of forgot how they figured that out. But we're gonna do this little skip on this little machine here to get out, and that conveniently gets us out on a mount. Alright, so now we just have to hopefully get past these Ravagers here without too much trouble. Alright, they're roaring, so that's really good. If they're roaring, they're not gonna be attacking, so it's a nice little thing. They're gonna shoot their machine gun, however, but it doesn't really do anything. They're usually a terrible shot with those things. But yeah, basically the workshop, it's kind of hard to explain how the strat works, but basically I'm gonna try to take out all the enemies without them being alerted. And it's very important I don't mess up on the first, I think, 5 guys, because if I alert them early, it's gonna be a real mess. And all the enemies are just gonna leave their stationary post and go into random spots, I guess. So if you want this fight to stay consistent, it's very important you do this fight specifically. So let me just focus on trying to do this correctly here. Wow, this guy's found the back. Alright, good so far. Alright, that guy is really in the back here. Can't get a shot off him, so we have to get alerted here, unfortunately. So now we are basically not doing the correct strat anymore, but I want to give a little shout out to another run of the game called Shared Shrimp, who actually helped me make the strat for Borderlands here. A little unfortunate, I'm not going to be able to show it off correctly here in the But basically what I'm doing right now is just clearing out all the enemies with triple shots. Most of them are wearing really tough armor, so you either have to headshot them or... Oh, got a little confused by who died there. Like, look at that cover. Wow. Why is the enemy just ignoring me? Look at her, she's just walking around. I guess it's a he, I guess I shouldn't say that. But anyway, the strat is a lot cleaner there when you do it correctly. There's another guy we just have to finish here. Messed it up a little bit. I have to use a triple shot on his head while he's frozen. That's gonna kill him in one shot. And the reason why I said I messed up there is whenever you switch arrows on your bow, if you have loaded up a triple shot but accidentally switch to a different arrow type, the triple shot is gonna unload. So that's why I had to load in a triple shot again. Alright, so next up is Sky Prime here, which is basically where the AI were located, or basically the head of operation is located for all the AIs to recreate the Earth. This is a very intense quest at the very start of the quest, and then it gets really slow. This is kind of, I guess, the break quest of the run. It's right before the end game starts, so right now it's a nice break in the run, but we have tried a lot of ways to figure out a way to make this faster. Because there's 2 holograms we have to watch inside Gaia Prime, and there's basically at the moment no ways to skip them. We have found some tricks in there, but they don't save any time as of right now, but hopefully when the puzzle pieces come together someday, we'll figure out a way to speed up Gaia Prime, or maybe even skip the holograms. But as of right now we have really tried, but there's no way of skipping them, unfortunately. So maybe there's some guy watching out there who would be interesting in maybe finding a skip or a glitch for Horizon Zero Dawn, then find a way to speed up Gaia Prime. There's some videos on how you can get, for example, the Master Override early inside Gaia Prime, which is one of the objectives. But that's a nice dodge there. But getting the Master Override early right now doesn't even save time, because even though you can get it early, the game still wants you to go to the first place of the quest. But maybe there's some genius out there, or somebody with a bright idea at some point that can figure out a way to hopefully skip some stuff here. So first off, we are just going to do a little unintended way to get up to a lot of the machines here. So the reason why the quest is very intense at the start, you have to go through basically an entire field of machines here. First we are going to do a little, I guess, Skyrim up the mountain again. And then we're going to go through this, basically these landmines are going to alert the machines, so there's no way of avoiding it. There's a way of avoiding it, but it's very slow, so it's not worth it. And now we're just going to hope the machines don't shoot us too much or attack us while we are climbing here. So basically all those stalkers that are around here, they are basically have mounted cannons on their back. So hopefully they're not going to shoot us too much here. But we'll see how it goes. So right now they're shooting me, and that's really bad. Trying to heal up before they get more shots in, and they are really going at it here. Hopefully mostly going to use my small potions, that's good. I want to be at full health here because there's more enemies right here in this section. And the scary thing here is not the enemies kinda not the enemies themselves. It's if they hit me, there's a big chance I fall down while going this little going this I guess different route up the side here. So there's basically some Glinthawks flying around, which is the small flying enemy here. And they're gonna do their attacks and hopefully don't hit us while we are on a small ledge or something, because that's gonna knock us down. And I think we're in the clear, but not really, because here's a Stormbird. You can't see the Stormbird, but there's a Stormbird right above me right now. And as I said, that Stormbird can be really annoying to deal with. I'm trying to call for my mount here, and hopefully he catches up to me and we don't get shot. Alright, he missed. Good. So that's the intense part of Gaia Prime is now over, and I guess that went pretty well. So now there's going to be a little bit of a break. It's not too intense here. It's basically just going to be a couple of movement, if you will, throughout Gaia Prime, and then the 2 holograms.
Wenn du fliegen könntest, hätte ich nicht mal den Kletterpfad gemacht.
Nicht runtergucken. Nicht gucken.
Alright, so coming up here, we're just going to talk to Silencer, and he's going to let us inside Gaia Prime.
An genau so einem
So there's actually a lot of skips, but I guess you wouldn't notice them unless you have played this game before. Inside Gaia Prime, it's basically just small skips that skips a lot of climbing throughout the entire thing. So basically here, jumping down to avoid having to climb down the elevator by rolling into that specific corner. And right here, we don't take the zip line because that's also very slow. So going down the side as well, and let's see if we get the double jump here. We do. So just like the roll jump, if you jump right after you have landed from another jump, you carry enough momentum to skip over that climbing path there. So if you remember the roll jump I explained earlier on the run, the double jump thing kind of works the same way. When you jump right after another jump, you carry slightly more momentum into your jump, allowing you to get over there without getting into the climbing animation. And coming up here is the first hologram we have to watch, which is the longest one of the 2. So, accidentally brain farted there and went a little bit further on the staircase than I should do.
Der Fokus kann sie wiederherstellen, aber das dauert. Für uns ist er ein mächtiges Gerät, aber sein Antrieb ist winzig und eingeschränkt.
Wie lange dauert es?
So not much to say through this hologram here. Just gonna craft ammo while this conversation is going on again. And set up our weapons here for some of the end game. I guess a good time to get some water, guys. Don't worry, I'm staying hydrated. I'm trying.
I'm gonna actually get you guys filled up on what we got in store in the few next hours.
Sure.
So right after the Horizon run, we are gonna have Little Nightmares, any percent by Yajiji. I guess I hope I didn't butcher that. After that, we got Cube 2, any percent no numpad skips by Fatsuke and Ifalon. It's actually a race. And after that, we've got Denshadadi Lightning Stage, any percent. It will be Jigachi versus Lord Mao 5. And after that, we got Need for Speed Most Wanted, the good one, by Kuro HS.
The good one. I guess you're right about that. So right here, we basically learn how Elizabeth Sobek died, or basically sacrificed her life in order for Zero Dawn to kind of survive as a project. And by the way, in case you don't know, Aloy is, I guess, kind of a clone of Elizabeth Sobek. So I guess she has some sort of feelings for her. I guess she kind of sees her as her mother, even though she wasn't born the normal way. So this is supposed to be a very emotional cutscene, but yeah, I've seen it enough times, so it's not really that touching anymore. But if you want to get some Bible thumbs in the chat for this cutscene, then feel free. So again, yeah, we have tried a lot to figure out ways to get around these cutscenes, and we have tried a lot, but so far we haven't found anything. And yeah, as I said, we're kind of hoping that somebody someday will figure out a way to speed this up. But for now, I guess it's kind of a nice break before the end game starts.
Das war die letzte Nachricht von Elizabeth Sobek. Sie gab alles für die Hoffnung.
So as soon as this So the big problem with why we can't skip this stuff, it's actually possible to leave these rooms while the cutscenes are going on. But the problem is we have to talk to Silence after each one of these two holograms here. But so even though we can leave the rooms while the conversations is going on and hopefully get to the next conversation, we still have to go back and talk to Silence, which is the annoying part. But hopefully some genius figures out a way to allow us to skip that in the future. Because that would help a lot. And speed up the game, of course. I could have done a roll jump there to skip that little climbing animation, but it's kind of risky, and I guess this run is already bad enough, so we probably should just not risk that. Play a little bit marathon safe for once. But don't worry, there's plenty of more stuff we can lose time on to later on in the run, so... We have already had the game crash, which was kind of unexpected, so hopefully we have a better way. Hopefully we have a good end game at least to make up for some of this in the run. Even though I will say, I guess the execution of this run so far has been fairly decent. But we did lose like over a minute to the crash, so oh well. So here's the second hologram we watch, where basically Ted Faro is gonna kill all these guys in the room. He's the guy that created the apocalypse, and he doesn't want Zero Dawn to succeed, because it would, because he believes if you give all the knowledge to the new people that are gonna spawn, that the apocalypse is probably just gonna happen all over again. So he wants to stop it by basically killing them before it happens. And basically, I guess, restart all of human knowledge. And hopefully, that fly is annoying right now. Yeah, and hopefully, and he kind of hopes that the new people will not get that technology revolution that we are kind of living in right now, and creating AIs that could kill the world. And that's probably a thing that could happen in the future. So if you guys want, you can place your bet in the chat right now for how long do we have left to live before the AI kills us all. Bastard. That's probably my favorite German word now. So right there, he just basically empties the room for air, or eliminating the atmosphere in the room. And they're all dead. And that's why Project Zero Dawn kind of failed. And now Silence is gonna spawn again, as I said. So, as I said, we have a way to watch this cutscene before the other one. But due to the fact that we still have to talk to Silence after each one, it doesn't really help. So yeah, again, if you want to find a way to skip it, then hopefully somebody will. So now we're just gonna do a little skip here to skip the climbing down here by rolling around those corners and land on those hitboxes. Same thing here, except the opposite way. We're gonna do it to get up. That was a little slobby, but we got up there. And now we just have to talk to Silence, and then we'll be in the late game, or basically the end game of the run, because there's just 2 more quest lefts after this. But the last quest is the longest quest of the game, so still a good amount of gameplay left, guys. So I guess this is probably one of the last times we have time for donations, so if you want to get some last ones in before the end.
I'm just gonna... I have mentioned earlier that we have Need for Speed Most Wanted lined up, and that actually has a donation incentive for the color of the Volkswagen Golf that Kuro is going to drive throughout the entire game. And there are options like yellow, white, red, purple, pink, green, blue, and black. Right now, pink is in the lead at $26, with yellow being second at $20. So you know, if you like your colors, you better get those donations coming.
All right. If you have one more thing, you can do it, but otherwise, I'm just gonna start explaining the next thing. All right, I guess not. So now the second to last quest, which is gonna be Derval, the guy that basically killed Aaron's sister, is now gonna attack the city to, I guess, get his revenge for something. Again, I haven't watched the cutscenes in a while, so I actually don't know. So bear with me on that. But this split has the, or split or whatever, this quest has the, I guess, kind of an infamous skip in the Horizon speedrunning community known as Blaze Skip. But first, let's go into our inventory and do the first menuing of the run. Wouldn't you believe it, we're playing an RPG and that's the first menuing of the run, an hour and 45 in. Actually 49 because it's a bad run. Anyway, gonna set up the weapons here for a Glenthawk fight coming up. So basically the Blaze Skip is a way to skip a conversation coming up here. Now, it does require us to hit 2 frame perfect inputs, because basically there's a, I guess, an input display on the screen that's just going to be active for it's either 1 or 2 frames at times, and hopefully if we nail both of them, we are allowed to skip a conversation that lasts 20 seconds, so we'll see here if we get it. Alright, we got the first part. I just need to hit the second one. Alright, we got Blaze Skip, let's go.
Yes!
That was a double frame perfect track, and it looks really easy, but try it yourself and you're probably never gonna hit it. Also, it was a little harder in German because I don't usually have my, or I don't have the usual sound cues for in English. But basically, if we didn't get that, we would have to listen to Aaron and Aloy talk for a while there. Before we would be able to do those prompts again. So now we are just gonna go back to the palace here through this alternative route that I guess Derval used to get into the palace. We're gonna save everybody and then we're gonna have a fight with Derval and his Glinthawks. And the Glinthawks are those flying machines, and this fight is really hard to nail because you are gonna be fighting stuff that are flying around, and as you can imagine, it's not the easiest thing in the world. Just gonna ignore these 2 guys that basically talk about how annoying it is to guard in the sewer. I would imagine that would be annoying too. So coming up here, we are just gonna have the Derval fight, and it's gonna look really easy, but I guess the game kind of wanted you to do this quest earlier. It isn't that high of a level requirement for this quest. Or I guess the game basically suggests what level you should be in if you are basically playing any percent for a quest. But this quest is just really convenient to do at the end of the run, so... What? Okay, I missed that shot. Alright, so now for the Glinthawks here. So I'm basically going to use the fire arrow I switched out in the menu earlier to set them on fire. Now, when they're set on fire, they're going to fall to the ground here. And this fire arrow is fully upgraded with fire, so I can basically just set them on fire in 1 triple shot here and take them out with the blast bombs as soon as they go down. Now, the important thing is you don't want to be shooting the Glinthawks while they are landed, because if you hit them while they are landed, they're not going to fall to the ground. And you want them to fall to the ground. And basically, if they're landed, they're not even going to be affected by the fire. So we're going to look for the ones that are flying around here. As you can see, he's kind of struggling, and there he goes. And watch out of the corner of my eye here that Glinthawk is attacking. That's nice, and hopefully get the hit. That's nice. Alright. Oh, where's the last guy? I'm also trying to make my way up the stairs there while I'm killing off the last one, because we do have to talk to Derval as soon as the fight is over, so if we could have been a little closer to him, it would have been a better fight. And that finishes off the Derval quest there. So that was actually really solid, basically because we got Blaze Skip. Alright, just gonna heal up for the next thing coming up. So the next thing is going to be the healers fight, where we have to fight healers. And that is a fight that can go very poorly. But hopefully it will not. First we're just gonna talk to Marat here, that's gonna start this last quest here.
Und meldet mir weiter jeden Neuankömmling. Das und nicht.
Alright, it's fast travel back to Meridian here. It's just slightly faster. I actually randomly figured that out by watching somebody else's run of Horizon just one day. Just saw a random dude who did a run and he fast traveled to Meridian. Turns out it's faster, even though it's such a short run there. So first off here, we are just gonna have an unskippable cutscene here at the end for the last quest. But luckily, I get time to explain the healers fight then. The healers fight is gonna be very short if it goes well. These first cutscenes we can skip, but the last one here is unskippable. So let me get some water and then I'll explain it. So, healers. So Helis is this big guy we're gonna see here in a bit. So the strat for this is we're gonna try to freeze him and hit him twice with a triple shot headshot. Now, it's not as easy as you think, because he's gonna be surrounded by a lot of his guards. And one of them has a Rattler, and the Rattler does a ton of damage to you if you're too close to the Rattler guy. Also, Helis are gonna shoot firebombs at you. So, hopefully we can freeze him before he gets a shot off, otherwise I'm gonna have to move from the position I want to freeze him from. And it just so happens I would have to move closer to the Rattler guy, who is gonna be in the back left. Back left. So if I do this correctly, I will freeze Helis and then hopefully hit 2 perfect headshots on him, and he's gonna die very simple. And also, when you freeze him, his head is kind of shaking around, so it's a little tough shot to hit. And right after that, we are going to go into the most intense part of the run, right after Helis, which is the Ridge defense. But I'm going to get more into that when we get to it. And Ridge defense is also known as the biggest run killer in this game. You won't believe how many really good runs I've lost to Ridge defense in the past. If you ask anyone who watches my stream regularly, they will tell you. So this is Helis, the guy we're gonna be shooting. As you might see, he's wearing a big helmet. So that also means we can't shoot him in the back of the head, because the helmet is gonna block his attack. Also, we wanna hit the headshots before he kinda gets unstunned by the freeze, because otherwise he's gonna start moving around, and he's really good at blocking your shots. So we don't want that to happen. Alright, ignore that arrow guy there. Hopefully we get the freeze. Good. That's the first headshot. Alright, perfect. And into Ridge defense. So basically no break between these two segments. That was pretty much perfect healers here. So Ridge defense here is where we're gonna have to fight off a lot of machines. And they're basically gonna come in waves, and we're gonna have to use this Aussie cannon on the ground here to kill them off. So a lot of machines on ultra hard difficulty is obviously a big reason why this is really hard. But don't worry guys, we have the high ground on these machines. And as we all know, the high ground is a win by default. So the important thing here is to try to take out this first Deathbringer here before I start shooting at you. As you can see, he's starting to do that. And hopefully we can finish him off here. I'm trying to dodge his shots while I'm charging up the Aussie cannon here. As you can see, I need to charge it up before I can shoot at him. Alright, he's already dead. Then we have to clean up the 2 machines here. As you can kind of see the red dots above their head. We have to clean this up because the next wave of enemies will not spawn until you have cleaned this up. The waves work a little weird. It's kind of different from wave to wave in this section. Alright, got a good shot there. So for example here, the next wave is gonna spawn after I kill all the machines that are gonna spawn to the left here. But they're not spawned in yet, so we have to focus on the Deathbringer here until they get a little bit closer. But after that, I can just ignore the Deathbringer for a little bit here. Because I just want to kill these guys so I can get the next wave to start closing in while I finish off the Deathbringer here in the back. And the reason why this is a big run killer is the end of Ridge Defense here. Which is gonna have the infamous Stormbird, aka Zapdos, is gonna fight me. I call him Zapdos because he's a giant bird that shoots lightning at me, so I guess obvious reasons I call him that. Alright, so they're dead, so the next wave should spawn in. And I can start focusing on this guy while the other enemies get closer to make the shots easier. And the other guy should help me take out this guy. And I'm kind of aiming at specific spots on the background to know I have the perfect angle for the shots. And as you might have noticed, the spread of the Aussie cannon is also random, but if you just hit the correct spot, you should be able to get enough damage on each shot. Alright, that should finish. Let's just finish that long leg. There we go. That's the first part of Ridge Defense. And this is going to be your only checkpoint through Ridge Defense. So if I'm to die during any point of the last section of Ridge Defense, I'm going to lose 2.5 minutes. So that's just why it's a big run killer, because the Stormbird at the end has several attacks that can really screw you. And imagine the nerves when you're on good pace and during this section. Imagine the nerves when you are doing this section towards the end of the game and you're on really good pace, knowing that you could lose 2 minutes if you mess up. So again here, focusing on the Deathbringer until these guys get close enough. That's a bad shot on that Sawtooth. Or Ravager, whatever. So I'm just trying to take out these guys. I want to hit the belly of these long legs because that does a lot of damage to them. Okay, I lost track of the long leg. I guess I killed him. Or maybe another guy managed to take him out. Alright, finish off this guy, hopefully, fast. There we go. Now, hopefully I can take out this Deathbringer before the Glinthawks spawn in here. The Glinthawks is going to be the next small enemy wave coming in. Okay, the Glinthawks are coming in. I don't think I managed to kill him. Yeah, I didn't manage to kill him, so I have to focus on the Glinthawks while I'm trying to dodge the missiles from the Deathbringer. It's not that easy, because right now when I'm shooting these guys on the left here, I have no idea where the missiles are coming from. And there we go, he's dead. So next Deathbringer should spawn in the back here. Well, he always spawns in the back there, but you get the point. Again, just focusing on this guy until these guys get a little closer. Alright, so now we just need to clean up these guys, and then the Stormbird is gonna spawn. So let's all pray for good RNG with the Stormbird, that he doesn't do a lot of troll attacks. I can't really hit the last scrubber there. Last scrubber's kinda in a weird spot, he's kinda behind that. Well, there he is. Alright, I got him. Here comes the Stormbird. So hopefully he doesn't troll us too much here. Oh dear. So basically what we don't want to see is him firing these thunder attacks straight at us here. And he does. And that's really bad. So we have to switch platform if he does that, because then our Aussie cannon is going to be stunned and we can't use it. Oh god. He did it again. Okay, we didn't get stunned there, so that's fine. Now the worst thing that can happen is if he flies straight up into the air. We don't want to see that either. Oh god, he's a really troll today. Alright, the Osram cannon was kind of on the edge of the electricity there, so we could pick it up. Alright, let's just... Alright, he's dead. That was somewhat clean. Could have gone a lot worse. So basically, if he did fly into the air and managed to land on me from the height, that would have killed me in one shot. So that's why I didn't want to see that. Plus, if he goes higher into the air, I basically can't hit him. Now all that's left is to finish the stepper. Alright, let's load up our weapons before the cutscene, and I didn't do that. Oh well. So I'm gonna have to reload before Hades. So yeah, all that's left now is to kill the Hades. Again, this cutscene is for some reason unskippable. I guess it's because the game is loading behind this cutscene. So 204 for its defense. It's okay. Considering everything, I'm only 3 minutes behind PB. I guess not, a little more than 3 minutes, but we did have a crash that probably cost 1.5 minutes, maybe 2, so... If that didn't happen, I guess this run would actually be decent. So basically the last Hades fight is gonna be is gonna be a fight with a corrupted Deathbringer, the one we just saw there in the cutscene. Now, a lot of people will remember that fight as being very annoying in casual play, because usually machines spawn in, and a lot of machines will spawn in, and there's a timer for how fast you have to kill him. But with the speedrun strats, that's not even going to be a problem, because we are going to kill him before the enemies even get a chance to spawn in. Let's see, we have 5 large health potions, so that's plenty enough to tank all the hits from Hades at the end here. So if I was a little lower on health potions, I would probably have picked some up along the way here. There's a lot of backup potions you could have picked up here, which probably would recommend for any new runner who would attempt this. Alright, we didn't get hit by the long leg, that's quite good. So right here I'm gonna call for my mount here, because it's slightly faster to ride this little area than it is to climb up it. And as I said, what's gonna happen here with the last Deathbringer fight here, the Hades Deathbringer, is I guess basically the same thing as the other Deathbringer we saw at Gravehorde. I'm gonna freeze him over, but since he's corrupted, he has a lot more damage, or like health points. So it's gonna be a little bit harder. So freezing him over and try to bait him into doing his stomp attack, so he doesn't do a lot of damage while I'm freezing him. And right here we're just gonna do a nice little, the last climbing skip of the game, to skip some climbing animations here. Nice. A little risky there at the end, but it's fine. As you can hear, you're supposed to be climbing there, so that's why Aloy has that voice while she's doing that. So the voice is kind of set up as if you were climbing, but since you're not climbing, it just kind of sounds weird. So here we go, the last fight, guys. And time is going to be coming up pretty much right after the fight. Alright, let's get him to do the stomp attack. Alright, he's frozen, so now I'm just going to hit all his weak spots here with triple shots. And hopefully take off a lot of damage while he remains frozen. I'm not going to be able to take him down before he unfreezes. But if I can do a lot of damage before he unfreezes, that would be nice. And now all that's left is to shoot his upper right weak spot here. As you notice, I'm using health. I'm using the health potions throughout this entire fight. To kind of tank all his damage. Because as you can see, he does a lot of damage. And there we go, he's dead. And now we just have to parry Hades. And that's time. Thank you, guys. And that's Horizon Zero Dawn, New Game Plus on Ultra Hard. I guess 208 is a fine time. I guess without the crash it would have been a 206. So I'm happy with that. So yeah, thanks for watching and keep enjoying the marathon. I don't really have anything else to say. So yeah, thank you.